boxing fans here with Shane Fury. Shane, we're here. It's fight week. Your brother Tyson's going to be fighting Derek Chisora for the third time. Just talk to me about him, man. He looks happy in there. You know, I watched the interview he did yesterday with Ariel Hawani, and he said, "Listen, I need this fight physically and mentally." You've been around him. How much does boxing mean to your brother?
You know, listen, I go out to work. I've got to go out to work and provide and do what I do. And if I have a week off, I'm very bored and very down. So I suppose, listen, once you've been doing something for a long time, you know, it becomes something what you have to do. He's done all his life, and I've noticed he's most happy when he's in training camp or in training, you know. So, and I've noticed that for a very long time, even before there was issues, you know. But you sit round and you do now, you are going to become depressed. So you just need to keep your mind occupied. Like the next man goes to work 9 to 5, next man does some business deals, whatever he does, he's keeping his mind occupied. This is Tyson's work. This is the work that actually matters to him.
I suppose with Tyson, he's done it differently though. He's come back, become the world champion, but then taken other routes, went into the WWE, you know, kept himself occupied at all times. When he said he was going to retire, we didn't know for how long, if it was definite. Now we know that he does need something to be going on in his life, especially for the next couple of years.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, whatever Tyson says, whatever he says, at the split second and the time, he 100% believes what he says. You know, and that's what happens when you make rash decisions. You change your mind, and they're not the right decisions. But listen, he needs boxing, and boxing needs him. The heavyweight division is a big hole without Tyson. So, you know, you've got to enjoy him and embrace him while he's here, because he's not going to be here for long. You know, if he stays around for a tremendously long time, which let's say 5 years. 5 years is not a long time. And to have, you know, I can't remember the last character what was like him. So you just got to enjoy and embrace it while he's here.
Kell Brook did an interview a few days ago, and he said, "I feel like a bit of me's died without boxing. I feel a bit lost right now." And it's quite an emotional interview. He was talking about his mental health after boxing. And your brother's the ambassador for the whole, for what he's done through his mental health. How much of an inspiration is he to them people who have been going through things like this, especially someone like Kell Brook, who at the moment, unfortunately, is going through that?
Yeah. Well, I'm totally the wrong person to ask, because I watched an interview with a podcast, Coogan and Eddie Hearn, and his outlook of it a few years ago, as he was growing up, is the exact same outlook what we had on it. He was weak-minded, get on, give yourself a shake-off and get on with it, lad. You know, everyone can't be happy all the time and every day, but that's my outlook at it. But realistically, it's a serious thing, and listen, I hope everyone, listen, it's a serious thing and it's a condition, and I can't comment on it because I've got no opinion on it because I don't know enough about it.
It was 7 years ago yesterday when your brother did what people think he couldn't do, and he beat Vladimir Klitschko in his backyard. What was your memory of that night? Forget your brothers, because I'll talk to him about that, but what was your memory of that night?
My memory of that night, well, obviously it was a very good night, and we got the result we was after. But there wasn't any. I know he's a big underdog at the time, and Klitschko was this, and Tyson was just what he was. But there wasn't any doubt, and any of these people around him at the time, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that he was going to lose. Or, you know, if anything, he won in a fight where he should have won a bit better. But it was a very good night. But listen, there was no doubt when he was fighting him that night that he was going to lose. It was how he was going to win. Ridiculous, really, but that was the truth of the matter.
I do want to talk about Tyson's very good friend, someone that you've been around for a long time, in Billy Joe Saunders. It looks like he's going to be making a return at some point next year. We're hearing March. I spoke to Ben Davison. He's hoping that it's going to be in March. He's back in the gym. How much do you want to see Billy Joe back and making a return?
Again, listen, Billy Joe's a great fighter, and you know, he's a fun character, isn't he? And people want to see him. People tune in to see what he's got to say. He can't just talk; he can back up as well. Listen, one defeat don't defy who you are as a man. I think Billy Joe, you know, if he wants to do it, he can do it. You know, and if he wants to come back, he will be successful and he can do it. But you know, you've got to have the hunger and you've got to have the want in order to do it. So if he wants to, in his own heart of heart, wants to come back, and wants to stick in, he can become world champion again and be a three-time world champion. But the talent's there, but it's a question if you want to do it. You know, if your heart soul's into it, have you got other things going on? Because it's a lonely, hard sport, as he knows. If your heart's not in it totally, it's a hard job. But if he wants to come back, he's obviously skillful enough to do it, and you know, if he's training hard, he will do it. He'll come back.
Final one for myself. A couple of weeks ago, we saw Tommy fight out in Dubai. The aftermath was Big John taking off his top, going after Jake Paul. What did you make of all that, first of all? And how close are we to seeing Jake and Tommy finally get into that ring?
Listen, I am about the driest character you can see. So all that is not me, and it makes me a bit cringy when I watch it. But my dad is a very sensible man. My dad, I tell you what that fight is. For an example, if it had done, say for an example, 500,000 pay-per-views, an example, with that escapade what my dad's done, it's doing 650. You know, people want to see him. He's a 60-year-old man, and everyone loves him. Whether it's good or bad, they all want to tune in and watch what Big John Fury's saying. So I say crack on. But the Jake Paul and Tommy fight, I think they need each other, really. You know, you can go and have more. Jake Paul can go and have more fights elsewhere, but who's bigger than Tommy? You know, and vice versa with Tommy. Tommy can go and box some boxers, for an example, 50 grand, but why not get a couple of million, 3, 4? I don't know how much. For an example, it's hard, isn't it? You know, so Tommy will do his job. He will have all these fights, and he'll have the Jake Pauls, which I was watching his brother and himself yesterday, and I respect them very highly. They're very successful businessmen, aren't they? You know, and you got to take your hat off to them. But Tommy will do these bullshit fights, wherever they are. And I'm not saying Jake Paul's a bullshit fight, but Tommy will do all this. But once Tommy's done with that, he will knuckle down into boxing properly, and he will get his job done. You know, and he understands it's going to be a pay cut, whatever it's going to be. But Tommy's got ambitions to be world champion, or even try to be. And whether you fail on the way or not, he's got ambitions to have a go properly. So we'll see. But let him earn some easy money, and when it's done, we'll go from there.
Actually, a final one. When we talk about Tyson, we always talk about Anthony Joshua. It looks like he's going to be fighting Dillian Whyte at some point next year. What do you make of that rematch? How do you see that fight playing out?
Listen, my opinion, I think both men's washed up. But I think Joshua's licking his lips looking at Whyte's last performance, because it was shockingly shite. You know, it wasn't. Listen, that's coming from someone, you know, who's just no good anyway. It's not a disrespect to anyone saying they're washed up and it was a shit performance, because I can't do better. It's what it is. But what I'm saying is, from where they was, I just think both men seen their better days, more mentally than anything else with Joshua. And by the look of it, takes a lot of cracking out of. And Whyte, it wasn't a good performance. If I was Joshua looking at it ringside, I'd be wanting him next, because I think Joshua will walk straight through it.
Appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man with your brother, and I think he's just wrapping up. But thank you very much for talking to Pro Box.
Thank you.